and welcome to episode 63 of the CFC Talk podcast. I'm joined tonight by my host, Amart, and also our guest in Akash, who's featured on CFC Chats and CFC Talk. If we had a league for guests on both channels, I think Akash would probably be up there, number one or number two, but pleasure for him to be on. And we're going to be digesting our game against Real Madrid, a 1-1 draw, which I think we can come away with pretty confident, guys. Like, we definitely outplayed them for significant periods of the game. Yes, second half went a bit dead, but Pulisic showed Courtois up in the first half, and it was kind of funny that before the game, I think on CBS they showed up a picture of Benzema and a tweet about Benzema saying about Vinicius about not passing to him, that he was playing on the other team. And I think I saw some comparative tweets tonight saying don't pass to Werner, he's playing for the other team. It's all in jokes, of course, but yeah, guys, it was, shame about Werner's chances, but pretty good result overall.
Yeah, I think definitely it's a good result, but man, you can't help but think how many goals we would have been leading by if we only took our chances. And the first half was like the better half. The second half was basically a snooze fest, but the first half was the better half. And the spaces that we were finding ourselves in, we could have easily punished these Real Madrid players. This game reminded me of the Real Madrid first leg that they had with Liverpool. They took most of their chances in the first half, and they had their chances in the first half, and they buried. I think the chances that they had in the first half, they buried all. And we had a similar opportunity today, and we couldn't do it. But like, it's a good result. We still have their away goal. We just have to do our best in the second leg to make sure that they don't score an away goal as well. But yeah, it's a good result. But a lot of Chelsea fans are disappointed as well.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with everything that you guys just said. And if you had asked me before the match, so if people had asked me before the match if I would have taken a 1-1 draw, right? So I would have jumped at the opportunity, an away goal, and to come away from Real with the result is no mean task. But considering how good we were in the first half, how many times we broke free down the right flank and we were right into their back three, this defeat maybe feels like this draw maybe feels like a bit of a dampener, but come tomorrow morning we'll all be fine. We'll be like, good result, we have an away goal now, and we have everything to play for, as in we don't have to force the issue come the second leg. So lots to look forward to, man. Up for it.
Yeah, we'll definitely take a look at the second leg later, but it's like being able to go into that second game where, we can kind of just pass. Even in this game, particularly in the second half, Real Madrid really sat back and decided that they were just going to try and hit us on the counter when, and it didn't really even work to that much of an effect, particularly in the second half. I think their only shot on target was the goal, and I think we can really safely say that if Benzema and Werner had swapped teams, I think we probably would have won the game 3 or 4-0. I think we had about 5 shots on target, even without Benzema making a mid-game switch to Chelsea. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, we just got to blame. We can put it down to our lackluster attack. Pulisic was fantastic, to be fair, today, right? Like, I think it was their left centre back is Nacho, I think, and he just could not get anywhere near Pulisic, could he?
Yeah, pretty great performance from. I think if you look throughout the squad, right? So the only disappointments there that I would sort of say is Werner, for obvious reasons, and Azpilicueta started very brightly. If you look at the first half, most of our good attacking play came from slick combination play between Aspi, Kante, and Pulisic, and we were like right into their back three. But as the game wore on, I think the demands of getting up and down the flank were a little bit too much for him. He doesn't have the legs to do it right now, and he doesn't have the pace and recovery to track back. And if he loses the ball, those recovery runs are sort of beyond him right now. So those were maybe the only dampeners. But I think ever since Tuchel has come in, right, I can't think of too many matches where we've ceded control. The Brighton match was not the Brighton one, sorry. The West Brom match was definitely an outlier because of obvious circumstances. But the structure that is put into place, every player seems to now know what to do. If he's in trouble, there's always a passing option on. And we went up against maybe the best midfield three there is in terms of game management and understanding between them, and we bossed the match. So, in retrospect, it was a great away performance, and it sets us up like pretty nicely for the second leg.
Yeah, I totally agree because I think like you said before the game, if somebody said you are going to get a draw out of this, you would take it without a question. So watching the game and seeing Chelsea dominate for most parts of the game was very, very exciting to see. And to be fair, I didn't really have that much confidence going into this game. It was like a 50-50 thing for me because they are very good. The Champions League is basically their tournament, and they're very good when they're playing the Champions League. They've been lackluster in the league recently, playing a lot of draws recently, but the Champions League, they're something else. And the way we were able to neutralize that midfield, especially in the first half. The second half, I think they came into the game more. And when Hazard also came in, it was a bit worrying as well. But like in the first half, we were in full control of that midfield. The midfield consisting of Modric and Cruz. And how many teams can actually say that? So we did very, very well. And Kante was also fantastic in the midfield. So it's a very good performance, and for any Chelsea fan, going the second leg will be more confident in going the second leg because we were able to dominate them the first leg. So hopefully, second leg we'll get something better out of the game.
Yeah, man, Kante today was second that for sure. He was literally everywhere in defence, winning balls off their attack just as you normally expect him, but also driving the ball forwards and just everything you expect from N'Golo Kante today was there, and pretty brilliant from him overall. It was a shame. I think Aspi was struggling with cramp towards in the second half or something, and they eventually took him off for James. And I mean, once the subs came on, I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves. At least we'll. And Mark suggested before the pod that we go first half, second half, but it's just kind of there's things to pick out from the whole game, and it's hard to separate. Yeah. Amart will give me a slap in the face later. But I mean, I mean, a lot of people were surprised about Aspi's inclusion from the lineup, thinking that Vinicius Jr. is going to tear him a new one, and that we saw how Ryan Fredericks on the weekend for West Ham got the better of Aspi on the wing a couple of times, and thought maybe today would be something similar. But first off, I think Akash said similar that Aspi was pretty good, but then second half kind of dropped off a bit, and it was good that he came off in the end. But first half chances,
I think. I think with Aspi, anytime we see Aspi playing as the right wing back, you know that Tuchel wants to be more defensive than offensive because Aspi doesn't really offer that much offensively. What he does best is stopping whatever player that he has been given to stop. And I think he did very well in keeping Vinicius very, very quiet. But he didn't really offer anything going forward. So I think that is what you lose. With James, probably you would argue that you get both sides. You get the defensive aspect and you get the offensive aspect. But with Aspi, you get less of the offense and more of the defense. So I think his inclusion is more of the fact that we wanted to defend and prevent any goal from coming in, which we didn't really succeed at. But we wanted to prevent them from really, really worrying us or troubling us the most. And I think we did that. Like getting one goal, conceding one goal isn't really that bad. That's because we also got a goal, so I don't think it's really that bad. But the second level, I'll prefer James and then probably Giroud or Tammy striking so that we can offer more going forward as well.
Yeah, I think it was a tactical thing with Aspi in the first half that we had sort of pinpointed Marcelo as a weak point, and most of our attacking came down that flank, right? So I think Aspi's passing was on point in the first half and was a big factor as to why we were able to find so much purchase in between. We were able to find so much space in between. But I think Amart is also right when he says that there's a trade-off when you start Aspi. You will get these neat passes, and he will enable movement in front of him. But if the need arises for him to progress the ball by himself from wing back, he won't be able to do it as effectively as maybe Reece does. So for the second leg, I would definitely want Aspi to drop back into the right centre back position, where if Hazard starts, and it looks like he will because he looked pretty sharp today when he came on. So if Hazard starts, that defensive unit of Aspi and Reese, they have a very good understanding amongst themselves now. They talk to each other throughout the match, and Aspi always, he brings that. He can calm Reese down when he thinks that maybe he's overcommitting to balls, or there are specific situations where maybe he should take a step back, and game management which you can't expect Reese to have at this stage of his career. So I definitely want him to start in the second leg, but not at wing back like you mentioned.
Yeah, it's interesting to see how you fit in as Pete. Like, it's just hard to, I don't know, maybe my bias towards Christensen at the moment is just an all-time high after his his clean sheet record, which sadly ended today. And maybe there's one for the Premier League as well, where he's still kept clean sheets when I think it's conceded one goal in like 10 hours of football and when he started, but now make that two. But I guess, yeah, I definitely agree. Move Aspi back to right centre back and probably drop out Christensen. I mean, I thought Christensen at least. I mean,
but
it's
Alex,
not like
here's a question for you though. Would you prefer Christensen at right centre back or in the middle of a three?
I would go middle, but then it's like, can you drop Thiago Silva? And it's
exactly.
like, this is so tough.
Exactly.
You can't drop Rudiger really either.
Yeah, you can't. Like, I mean, right now our centre backs have all been good, so good under Tuchel that it's very, very hard dropping anyone. And because Christensen
the right kind of headache to have.
Yeah, Christensen delivers.
Sorry, Akash, go on.
No, I think it's the right kind of headache to have is what I was saying.
Yeah, that's true.
So
that's
true. Sorry for butting in there, Amart.
No worries. But I do agree that it's because in the past we usually use this kind of thing for the midfielders that we have. A lot of good midfielders, especially when the season started. We were all saying that Lampard will have a headache of selecting midfielders or selecting attackers. But now it's good to see that it has fallen on the defenders, because that's kind of like the most important place. You can score goals, but you can't afford to concede them as well. So it's good, but it's difficult. It's a toss-up. Probably he flips a coin before every game before he selects them. So because all of them are so good.
So yeah, thinking maybe we just field all of our centre backs in the game against Real Madrid second leg. Put Christensen and Zuma in midfield. Play Aspi, Silva, Rudiger, Zuma, and Christensen all at the same time. Make sure no one's winning any of the second balls no one's winning any corners against us. There's no chance of Benzema being able to get that time
Tell you what, play Zuma up front, he probably scores the Werner chance today.
Yes. I mean, we've all seen Zuma's a great dribbler. We've seen it before, so I think he's the complete striker package,
Probably DM this to Tuchel. Might set some things in motion, you never know.
Yeah,
exactly.
New ideas.
Another way that he can also use to, he can also get all this centre backs in is if he plays a back four, and I don't see him playing a back four soon. So if he plays a back four, all of them can feature, but I don't see him playing a back four soon. So definitely one person will miss out.
Wasn't it 2014, I think, against PSG in the semi-finals in the second leg, where we played like 7 defenders or something?
It was
Atletico, yes.
13, 14 and Atleti, and we played Zuma in... I think we played Aspi at right wing, and we had like 6 defenders. David Luiz was in midfield that night.
Yeah.
He was in the midfield with Zuma, I think. I've forgotten. I think he was there with Zuma or somebody like that. 7 defenders. I remember that.
It was David Luiz and Ramirez, if I remember correct, but I'm not sure. But Aspi was at right wing. It was,
Yeah, take some inspiration from that. But coming to the second leg, there, what a matchup between. I mean, if it looked like in this game, I think Hazard was more of playing off like the right hand side or centrally and off the right hand side for Real Madrid tonight. But I just want to kind of see that matchup of James against Hazard. Just yeah, it's just kind of crazy to think. It's,
Prime Hazard
just
against James would have been a no contest, but this
yeah,
looks like more of a even match right now.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. It's
Yeah,
going to be quite
hopefully,
interesting. I mean, Hazard. Sorry,
hopefully.
Mark. Go on.
I was just saying that hopefully the second half he forgets that he's no more a Chelsea player and he scores an own goal for us. So.
and celebrates that as well, and then realizes he's gone to Real.
Knee slide. He scores an own goal with his backside. Knee slides into the shed end, and then realize, oh wait a minute, I'm no longer a Chelsea player.
Yeah,
What have I done?
I can picture that in my head right
But yeah, I think it's good call for that.
It will. It definitely will be a tough matchup. The second level will be very, very tough because 1-1, we will be at the advantage and they will be at a disadvantage. So they're going to come out. I think today they were a bit more relaxed today than they might be in the next game because I think today they were trying to prevent Chelsea from scoring more goals. So they were focusing on being defensive than being offensive. So, but in the second leg, they're going to go all out offensive. I know they will. So we also have to really be very, very strong and take any chances that we get. That's the most important thing. Any chance that comes our way, we need to at least either draw a save or score it. Like do something. Like we need to do something out of like the chances that we keep getting.
now. Yeah, Amart, I'll probably ask you this. What was your reaction to the Werner miss today?
I think right now most Chelsea fans have kind of like been desensitized towards Werner's misses. Like we see it and we get frustrated, but like it's like we've now become used to it, sort of. So I was frustrated, but I was like, yeah, it's Werner. Like what did we expect? Because this is a chance where he could have scored easily. Like Pulisic did very, very well. I mean that header back to him was a very beautiful chant, like a header, like a very beautiful pass. But like Werner just, I don't know why he keeps doing this, but this big goalpost, you decide to go where Couture is also moving towards, and it's crazy. Why don't you hit it back at where Couture came from? Like most strikers do that. Where the keeper is coming from, you hit it back at where the keeper is coming from, so he has a less chance of scoring. But where he's moving towards, that's where you decide to play it. It's frustrating, and I don't know whether we can keep on defending Werner at this point. I think I've said it before on the podcast that I think he needs to sit on the bench for a while to reevaluate himself, get back to form, or build confidence, than giving him chance after chance after chance, and he's not really proven himself. I think that next season, to be honest, I think next season these players will come good. Next season, Werner, Ziyech, Havertz, I think they'll come good next season. I have that kind of hope or confidence that they'll come good next season. But this season, it's not really clicking well with all of them. I think Werner in particular. So I just want him to be on the bench for some time and reevaluate himself, and then see what he can do when he comes back after like a couple of matches on the bench or starting from the bench.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, it's kind of frustrating. I mean, even though like you start to feel really sorry for Abraham now, because I mean, even before today, there's been so much uproar about Tammy not getting enough chances. But yeah, at the end of the day, at the weekend, Tammy absolutely deserves his chance. Deserves more than to get 5 minutes on at the end of the game where he gets only one chance. Hell, not even the best chance possible. I mean, Mount put the cross against West Ham at the end of the game wasn't the best, but yeah, really do want to see him play against Fulham, and perhaps, I mean, we can't really afford, in terms of midfield, do you guys think like we probably should rest? I mean, it's kind of, we can still talk about the Real Madrid game still, but time to rest one of Jorginho and Kante for Gilmore, perhaps, or maybe even Reece James in there, because I think we've gone with Kante and Jorginho for the past, I think, was it 3 games or 4 games now? And it's been a game every couple of days now, so maybe time for some rest for one of them.
Yeah, he definitely would start Billy. purely because we're risking either Jorginho or Kante, tearing a hamstring the way it's going right now with their current workload, right? And Kante does not know how to play at 50 or 60%. It's like 110% relentless throughout, like the Duracell bunny, right? And regardless of what recovery techniques we use, what physical therapy mechanisms Chelsea has in place right now to ensure a lack of injury, but it's a huge risk. And Billy, there are concerns about whether whenever he's played, I can't remember too many matches where he's had a bad match. The match against Barnsley, right, in the FA Cup, where it was intensely physical on a bad pitch, and he sort of struggled to stamp his authority on the match, but he was still pretty good. As in, there weren't any glaring mistakes in the match, at least. So at least to keep Jorginho and Kante fresh. And trust me, Jorginho in this system is immensely important to how Tuchel wants to play, right? So keeping both of them fresh for Real is of paramount importance, and I'm hoping that Billy starts. But judging by how Tuchel has set things up over the past few weeks, I'm expecting Jorginho and Kante to start again there.
It'd be pretty crazy if it does actually happen. I mean, you could totally see it, of course, because he's stuck with them in the past for for having games every couple of days. So why not continue? But it's got to give at some point. It's otherwise by the time it gets to the Real Madrid game, these guys would have played 6 consecutive matches every 3 days.
Same thing with Mount, right? So
yeah.
I'm sure he needs a rest too.
Yeah, perhaps at the weekend we can drop Mount and maybe play Havertz in that role, because it was kind of, I mean, it wasn't like I noticed today, or maybe it's just I haven't been noticing it in the past, but Mount, it was more like a 3-4, or maybe it was 3-5-2 or 3-4-1-2, with Mount's definitely further back or closer to a Jorginho and Kante, with the two guys up top in Werner and Pulisic. So just as a third midfielder, maybe it's best to put Havertz in there, or perhaps even have Mount as one of the two. Or to be fair, no, we need to rest Mount as well. We need to rest all three of them. What are we going to do?
I think the suggestion you made is will be the best option, because we can rest them. We can rest Mount versus Fulham. I'm not saying Fulham is a weak, very, very weak team or something, but against a team like that, we can at least rest him. I know Fulham will be coming out because they are in the relegation zone, and they are trying their best to not get relegated. But so they will also be coming out. They'll be coming they'll be going all in. So, but for me, even against Real Madrid, I wouldn't be less confident if Gilmore plays there, because I feel like the guy is very good. Even against the toughest of opponents, he can come on top. And I think the fact that he hasn't really been playing is even will even help him the most, because a lot of the opposition players don't really know what to expect from him. So when he's playing, and I like the way he offers like simple passes. He does the simplest things. He doesn't overdo anything. He doesn't try like something that he can't achieve or something. Like, he gives the simple passes, simple tackles, and does the simple stuff. And I think that is what we need from a defensive midfielder, or a midfielder next to Kante, because Kante will be the one doing the most, and then you'll be the one sitting back and doing the least. So with Gilmore, I wouldn't mind bringing Gilmore in against Fulham or in Premier League games, and then rest Mount, bring Havertz, rest Mount, and rest either Jorginho or Kante, bring Billy Gilmore in. Because we have a full squad. We don't have that many injuries. Apart from Kovacic, we don't have that many injuries. So why aren't we rotating the team more and using players like Tammy, using players like Gilmore, Emerson more in the game? I don't understand it.
It's fine. Emerson's being saved for the second leg, where he's going to come on at left wing, and he's going to show the Real Madrid team who's boss at left wing, just like he did against Atletico.
And he'll probably share that on his Instagram story for the next 3 days.
Deserved. He's our impact man. Oh man, yeah, that was hilarious.
He needs that in his life, though. As in, there's no joy on the pitch. let the man have his fun on Instagram.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also weird that he's kind of like the third choice when it comes to the left wing back position, but his first choice when he's playing for Italy. He's first on the team sheet all the time. But with Chelsea, he's always third choice.
I think he has Mancini's neutral. Who else? Who else does?
Yeah, that's the only answer.
No, but who else does Italy? I'm just trying to recollect, as in the amount of top quality left backs that Italy have. I don't think Dischilio is he's a left back, right? If I'm not wrong, the guy who was
Yeah,
with Juve and then went to Roma. Yeah, he's a left back. Yeah,
yeah,
Emerson's
yeah. He
definitely
is.
better. Right? Maybe
There,
Yeah, I
doesn't
there,
can't
have
there,
think
many.
of
there are not
any.
many. There are not many left backs. Like I think it's a position where they lack. So Emerson plays there most of the times.
Yeah, there's not many. I can't really think of many other Italian
Probably
left backs.
Shuhan Damian in there, but he's not much of an.
Agreed. Yeah, his time will come. Second leg, 80th minute, when Real Madrid are chasing the game. Get him on. But yeah, it's. I mean, talking about left backs. I mean, Chilwell today. I'm just trying to think of other things we can really gloss over before we move on to Fulham. But I know Chilwell on the whole, not bad of a game today. I mean, I can't remember much that he did offensively, but in defence, it looked like he had Carvajal and pretty much all of their right side of attack under control.
Start of the game, he was he was defensively sound throughout, but he did get into good crossing positions like 3-4 times in the first half, and the final ball was a little under par. But it happens, as in you can't expect the guy to be on point every game, week in week out. But second leg, I think a lot of space is going to pop up on his flank, and hopefully he pops up with a better delivery like he did versus West Ham.
Yeah, agreed.
Still a very good player, though. I think there's a lot of abuse that he gets for no reason. A lot of the fan base were against him being signed, in the summer window, and they use every bad performance as sort of vindication of their beliefs, right? Which doesn't make sense to me. Why do you want to
Yeah.
score Twitter points of one player performing bad? Same thing happens when Jorginho has a bad performance or Kante has a bad performance. Their haters start rejoicing, and they're all within the same fan base. They're all Chelsea fans. So I can't wrap my head around that specific aspect.
Yeah, spot on. Like, I mean, Joel, he had a little bit of a slump over Christmas period and in January, but I think particularly over the past month past month, 2 months, ever since I think he got dropped out for a couple of games to Alonso under the early spell, or a couple of games, or the first couple of games under Tuchel, and now he's just, really proving that 50 million well spent, and just as he did at the earlier part of the season. And I'm so glad that he's proved me wrong this year, because I'm not going to lie, I was not the keenest on his signing, but he completely proved me wrong. And I think we're going to be set. It's so good that we're pretty much going to be set at right back and left back for the next 4 to 5, probably 10 years for at least a right back, with James being only 22. So, yeah, pleasure to have both of those guys in the team. And in terms of other things to talk about, I mean, the only things I can think of is nice reunion with Courtois, getting but no goal through his legs this time, sadly. But there'll be a chance for it next time. And I can't really think of much else to say about this one. I mean, just a positive result all around.
Yeah, that was a very feel good moment. Like Pulisic was dangling the ball in front of him, like saying, come get it," and then dribbled past him and then scored.
I think it was.
I have so much hate for the guy, man. As in, I know we went and got Kepa only because we were counting on Courtois staying, or we were just hoping for some other deal to materialize. So, and the fact that he
Yeah.
skipped training, he forced a move, and he just left left a very bad taste in the mouth when he left. I don't know.
Yeah.
All the goodwill
Same.
could have been his because he was part of multiple league triumphs. All of it.
Yes, that's true. Like I feel the same way. I think that for a good number of months, anytime I type Couture next to on my keypad on my phone, the snake emoji also pops up, because there's no way I type Couture online without adding the snake emoji. So I think the time he left, there was a I think about close to 4 or 5 months. anytime I type Couture on my keypad, a snake emoji also pops up. So, so my keypad knew how I felt at that time. Yeah, I mean, what he did to Chelsea, what he did to us is kind of like unforgivable, sort of. Like, it will take a lot for Chelsea fans to forget about it. And I don't think Chelsea fans will forget about it very soon, because he kind of put us in a difficult spot at the point, because we thought we had a goalkeeper, we were set with the goal, like Akash said, we thought we were set with a goalkeeper for a very long time, and then he just decides to leave. He was trying to force a move on himself by himself, and there was a whole lot of bad blood created at that time. So it was very good seeing Pulisic round him up and burying that goal, and it was fantastic. Like, I was very happy. I was very, very happy. It made me even rejoice even more. I think Werner could have also had a chance to put it in between his legs, like Alex wanted, but unfortunately we didn't see that. But hopefully the second leg we'll get a nutmeg goal from him, probably from Kante. Kante is good at scoring nutmeg goals. Remember the goal he scored against Tottenham, where he got triple nutmegs, then he scored his goal. So probably he can do that against Couture.
For sure. I mean, I think there was a tweet coming out tonight a couple of hours ago on in 2012 in the away leg in the semi-final of the Champions League against the Spanish team. Torres rounded the keeper. Today, Pulisic rounded the keeper against Spanish opposition in the second leg of Champions. So in the away leg, of the Champions League semi-final. So it's happening. No need to panic. But yeah, it's there's a lot to be positive about. I mean, overall, a dominance. I think. I mean, yes, they're always scary because at the end of the day, Benzema made a huge difference for them, and fantastic finish from him for the goal. But in terms of their midfield, I only really noticed Cruz on some of his spectacular corner kicks, where they kind of got. I think there was one where he really, in the second half, where he really drove it into the box, and not even the Real Madrid player on the edge of the box could get anything on it. But then it hit Chilwell, and then kind of started to move towards goal. But overall, yeah, it was a positive result, I think, and to not get dominated by that midfield is a pretty good achievement, I think, and a lot to look forward to next week when, I think against Fulham we're playing on Saturday, I think. So I hope we are. Let me have a look. Yes, we're playing on Saturday in the evening, and then we're playing again against Real Madrid at home on the Wednesday. So at least there's some time and no time to travel as well. But I think that's pretty much a wrap for this game. And do you want to move on to Fulham or anything else we can talk more about? Can't think of much else. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amart, any last words?
No, just hoping that we do better in the second half, in the second leg, and take our chances. That's all. I just hope we take our chances, any chance that we get, because I know we'll definitely get chances. Because today we created so many chances today, and we didn't have enough firepower up top to finish most of them. So the next leg, I'm just hoping that we go with a natural striker in Tammy, or a natural number 9 in Tammy or Giroud, and then we can hopefully get a better chance at scoring most of our chances. That we hopefully we'll celebrate getting into the Champions League final again.
Yeah, it's going to be a hell of a night at the Bridge next week. It's just a shame no fans for it, but hopefully maybe in the final. I'm not sure in the Champions League final, even if there is, or if Chelsea are in it or not, if there will be fans or not. Because I think Turkey has just gone into national lockdown, I think. And so I'm not sure. It might be the case that when the Champions League final is on in Istanbul, whether fans will be allowed back in or not. But it's going to be an interesting one. But story for another time. Firstly, let's get through Real Madrid next week. But before then, we have Fulham. And, well, Fulham, their results. Their last result was a 1-1 draw against Arsenal. Not really anything to write home about. I think they got away with it was a 97th minute equaliser. Sorry, for Arsenal. So that was a shame they couldn't get the win there. But they've had some. I mean, their results wise, their form isn't particularly great. Their last win was against Sheffield about 2 months ago now. It was only a 1-0 win, and they've lost or drawn every game since. So on paper, you'd think that we've got the upper hand. We're coming into this game with some pretty good form and good performances all round. But we've got to remember that last time Fulham made it quite difficult for us, I think.
That match was more of a fact, as in our squad was like devoid of confidence throughout. Our midfielders were perpetually passing the ball backward. I think there was like this complete disconnect throughout the entire squad, and with the manager, with how he wanted us to play at that time, and that translated onto the pitch. But with the structure that we have in place right now, there is a clear identity. As in, if you look at whenever one of our players is being pressed, there are two people always making angles, giving him the out ball, right? And in terms of them pressing us, we don't have too much to worry because Tuchel has put that defensive structure in place. The only thing I'm worried about is which version of Chelsea shows up that day. It'll either be the one that blew Crystal Palace away, or it'll be the one that ground a 0-0 draw out with Brighton. And I'm hoping it's the Crystal Palace one because every game from here till the end of the season is a final. Top four is of paramount importance, and we have to turn up, man. We can't afford to just turn up for the big games and then pass it among the back four, back three, or back five for whenever we play the small teams. So I'm hoping it's a complete performance, and I'm hoping it's a comprehensive win. But even a 1-0 will do. I don't care it.
Yeah. Exactly. I mean that it's kind of like a lot of people think it's a given when you're playing against a team that's in the relegation zone. But we remember what happened the last time we played a team in the relegation zone. They are still in the relegation zone, but they really whooped our asses that's West Brom I'm talking about. They really disciplined us. So
how did that match happen, man? They play like dog shit with every other team in the Premier League, but they turn up against us and they're prime Barcelona. It makes no fucking sense.
Yeah, exactly.
No,
like
the
last time I saw a stat that they've scored 26% of their entire goal tally in the season. 26% has come against Chelsea, and that was crazy.
To be fair, I think we kind of revived West Brom because since that game they beat Southampton 3-0. They did lose to Leicester 3-0, but that was a blip. And then to be fair, they did draw against Villa, and they're coming up against a Wolves team this weekend that have just got destroyed by Burnley 4-0. So maybe I think the chance for them to get out of relegation is a bit too small. So that's good for us. We don't have to see West Brom next year, hopefully. But so it's good that two of our bogey teams, and Sheffield United aren't really a bogey team, but we don't need to see David McGoldrick ever again, or hopefully for some time at least. And West Brom, good to see them go down as well. We don't want them to. Well, hopefully they go down. We don't want to see them, especially after like you guys said, 8 goals this season. I can't believe that 26 or the percent that you gave them of their. Yeah, because it's 8 out of 30. They've scored 30 goals in the Premier League this year. 8 of those against Chelsea is ridiculous. But I mean, one more thing before we get back to the Fulham game, but also that I know in the Championship, I think Bournemouth. I think they're still in the run. They're still competing for a playoff place, but we really got to hope they don't make it back to the Premier League either. We don't need any of our bogey teams being in the Premier League next year. But yeah, I mean, looking at other teams as well who are playing this week, I mean, it's a big one for Man United. They're playing Liverpool at home. So one of those teams is going to drop points, which is great for us. And Leicester have... Alex can't read fast enough today. No, Southampton, which they're playing before us. So I think they're playing on Friday, whereas we're playing on Saturday evening. So we'll at least know what we have to do to try and at least keep up with third. But I think those are the two standout ones. And I guess maybe an informed Burnley side can perhaps take advantage of us getting a nice result against West Ham last week and continue some bad form for West Ham. Have lost their past 2 games in the league, so fingers crossed for that one, right? But yeah, in terms of Fulham, like Akash said, it's just a matter of what Chelsea turn up. Are we going to try and be a bit more aggressive and direct and not sit around for a 0-0 this time? Fingers crossed.
If Callum
Yeah.
Hudson-Odoi starts at right wing back, we will have much more of an attacking,
Yeah.
attacking fluency. And I hope that happens because Reece will get, much deserved rest, much needed rest, and he can come in fresh versus Real. So let's hope that happens.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, agreed.
Exactly.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm thinking,
Mark.
I was also thinking on the same way because I think Reece might be rested for the Real Madrid second leg, but I think he will start. Not entirely sure whether he would necessarily rest him, but I would prefer seeing Callum given a start because I think he will offer a lot as well when he plays, and like you said, Reece can also rest in the process. So yeah, but with Fulham and their last game against Arsenal. Granted, it's just Arsenal, but they really gave Arsenal a tough time. Arsenal. I think Arsenal would go a draw at the end or something like that. But they really gave Arsenal a very, very tough time. So if we also go into this, we don't need to underestimate them at all because anything can. We don't want to get a draw from this game at all. We need to win, and they can really push for a draw. So we have to try and win this game. So yeah, bringing on I wouldn't also mind seeing Havertz start in the striking position. I wouldn't mind seeing him or Werner. Any of them can start in the striking, but I would like to see Havertz also start. I don't think he did that much when he came on today, and I don't think it's his fault necessarily, but I would like to see him offer more in the Fulham game. And yeah, so that's what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, I kind of expect a lot of the guys who are on the bench tonight who weren't used. Like I don't know, Zuma. To be fair, in the back three recently hasn't been too bad. So perhaps bring him in for Thiago Silva and then get on. I mean, yes, we kind of want to see Tammy or Giroud play in the home leg. In the home leg against Real Madrid, but I do think it's just a good opportunity for a lot of the fringe players to kind of get some good game time against the Premier League caliber team and to kind of prove themselves. I mean, I don't think Giroud's I don't think Giroud has started a Premier League game in quite a long time as well. Same with Tammy, to be fair, as well. But hopefully one of those two start. And I agree with you, Amart, that Havertz, he needs to get in the start. Hopefully, he has a similar impact to the way he did in the Crystal Palace, particularly in the first half. And maybe, are we thinking Kepa redemption again, or ship has sailed?
No. Yeah, I think
silence.
Yeah, I think Kepa should be given a shout with this game as well. So
no, I definitely don't think so, man. I think it's too far into the season and too big a risk. As in, I don't know how Tuchel sees it, but yeah.
I think he wasn't really that bad against City, and he wasn't that bad against Brighton as well. So I don't know. I think given the chance, he can also secure a clean sheet because Mendy has set the bar so high that I think Kepa also has to kind of like either get close or match it. So he'll be on his toes as well. He'll be trying to impress or make a point.
I'm thinking probably save him. I think getting him to start in the FA Cup final alone is probably a fair enough of a chance. But I'm not sure about Fulham's set piece or corner kick or threaten, or how much of a threat they pose on corner kicks. But even if they have some players who are, then I would definitely not save or have Kepa in that, because whenever anyone takes a corner kick and Kepa's in goal, I think our blood pressure always kind of increases a little bit, because we all know his weakness on that side of the game. But yeah, I think I'll go with Mendy for this one. But I always like to throw his name in the conversation. It's something that Mohammad likes to do sometimes as well, and it's a bad habit. He's he's ingrained into me as an intern host. Sorry, but yeah. I'm thinking that's kind of a wrap for the pod, unless we want to bring up anything else. I mean, can't really. I think we've kind of given a bit of time to most of the players in the squad and talked about the game in the future. Anything else we think we can think of for this one?
No, that was it, man.
Or Akash?
I think we can.
Sorry, I shouldn't have.
I think I just want to mention the fact that the Chelsea ladies played the semi-final game. I think this week, I forgot the date was, but I think they played this week against Bayern Munich and they lost 2-1. So they have a little hill to climb in the second leg. I think that they'll also be playing at home as well. So wishing them the best, and hopefully they also get into the finals.
Yeah. How amazing would that be to have both Chelsea teams in the final of the Champions League? Would be pretty fantastic thing, and then to have both of them as winners, that would be even more impressive thing for sure.
Yeah, it's the one trophy Emma Hayes has been chasing for a very long time. I think a lot of people are even worried that even if she wins it, she might leave and probably go in for the national team job. But hopefully, if she wins it, she still stays, because she has been a really good asset to Chelsea, and the number of trophies that they've won is fantastic. So if we can have her longer, that would be good. But she's really focused on winning this year's Champions League trophy. Hopefully she does that.
Agreed. Yeah, that's definitely
all the best to Chelsea women too. I can't lie, as in I haven't followed Chelsea women as in that intensely ever, but I'm making an attempt now, as in I see a lot of great content up on Twitter from people who are trying to publicize the game, and I definitely feel it deserves more of a boost, as in more interest has to be generated, because the standard of football is insane, as in even Chelsea Football Club, as in where they are right now, they're truly one of the European elite, and I'm pretty sure that they need all the coverage and all the publicity that they can get.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's definitely deserved.
I also didn't used to like follow them a lot, but I'm a big fan of Fran Kirby, and when I started watching her, I think it was in 2015 or so, 2015 or 2016, one of them. I started watching her, and the level of football, like you just said, in the Chelsea ladies team is just fantastic. Like they play on a different level, and it's nice that a lot of investment has been made in the ladies department or the women's department of Chelsea, and they basically get the, like similar facilities like the men. They get everything that the men also get. They have the best environment to work in, so it reflects on the field when they are playing as well. And the number of players that we get in and get during every transfer window, like boost the team more and more. So yeah, they play fantastically, and it's nice to see even Fran Kirby. Fran Kirby has been amazing this season, so it's been a pleasure to watch her week in, week out.
Great, yeah, and it's really nice to see it get more recognition. I'll admit, moment with I only have enough time in the day with university and stuff to kind of barely follow Chelsea at the moment. But particularly once I graduate this summer, I really want to get into it more and help to publicize it more, because it definitely, like you guys said, totally agree. It deserves. I mean, it's getting an increasing amount of recognition, and hopefully that only increases more, because they deserve it at the end of the day. Because I mean, you could argue that Chelsea FC women's is in a higher state of, like say, one of the world's elite, in a higher kind of level than the Chelsea men's relatively. So it definitely, and it's great to see the more recognition they are getting. And like you say, I'm also a big fan of Fran Kirby as well. You can't ignore the thing. You see a lot of Hazard I think whenever I see her play, you always see the Hazard comparisons,
that's true.
or at least
That's true.
I don't know. Maybe I make that in my head. But
I think that was the reason why I even started. The attention even went to her in the first place, because I remember seeing articles of people comparing her to Hazard, the way Hazard plays and stuff like that. They were saying she was Hazard-like, so I wanted to see what actually was going on. But yeah, she definitely is. She's a very good player. I will not say Hazard-like, but she's a very unique player on her own in the stuff that she does. She's a good goal scorer. She's a good creator. She's a good playmaker. Like when it comes to defending too, she does very, very well. In that I think she went off for a year battling an illness, but she's back and she's been just fantastic. So yeah, good player.
Yeah. Agreed. I think that's a nice note to end off. I think exciting times. We got, I mean, like both of you said, I think that it's every game is a final pretty much until the end of the season, and Fulham is a huge game at the weekend, and Real Madrid, another team that play in white, also a kind of huge game. Well, no, of course, a huge game as well. Lots to look forward to, and you're going to hear from us. We'll have our next episode out on after the Fulham game, which will preview our huge tie against Real Madrid in the second leg. But before we end, firstly, a couple of thank yous. Firstly, to Akash, it was a really pleasure to have you on, man. Like, I love how well spoken you are and you get your ideas across. And this was a really fun one to do, I think. So just big thank you from myself and Amart and everyone at CFC and Mohammad particularly.
Thank you so much for having me on, man. And glad to jump on whenever you need me.
Yeah, and he also came at a very short notice, because I literally talked to him, communicated with him like 10 minutes or 20 minutes before we started recording, and he was down to record. So thank you very much.
Yeah, that's proof of how jobless I am. Proof of how free I was. So. But jokes aside, thank you so much for even having me on. And I love talking about Chelsea and football. So happy to join in whenever.
Yeah. We love it. We love it too, and we love having you on to talk about Chelsea as well. And another thank you to Amart as well. I mean, my ever consistent co-host. If I could compare you to any host, to any player, it would be, of course, Mason Mount for his consistency to always be there. And I can't remember the last time he actually missed a podcast, other than the last time out. But that wasn't because he didn't want to be there, mainly because his internet decided that his consistency was not going to. Okay, but we don't talk about that. He's still a very consistent co-host. And other than that, I'd like to say a big thank you to you, the listener. I mean, if you've gotten this far, your support is always appreciated. And if you do feel like showing a little bit more support than usual, then feel free to give us a like, maybe a subscribe as well, if you want to hear more from all three of us, and as well as Mohammed when he'll be back at the weekend. And just thank you for getting to the end of this podcast, and we'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.